Hey, Lightworkers, are you feeling overwhelmed, drained, or questioning your purpose? Well, you're not alone. Burnout is a real challenge for those of us who are constantly using our energy to uplift others. Well, today, I'm providing some powerful tools to help you overcome burnout, recharge your soul, and step back into your light. Welcome back to Uncaged Mindset, where we offer spiritual tools to help you awaken to your higher self. And before we dive into ways to overcome the burnout, please take a second and smash that like button and subscribe. We're building a community of light and everyone is invited. All right. So the first step to overcoming this burnout as Lightworkers is recognizing that you're burnt out in the first place. And because so many of us on the healing path are spending most of our time thinking about ways to be in service of others, being there for a coworker at your job who's going through a really hard time, or using your meditation time daily to spread light into the planet on a cellular level, or just thinking about people that you want to send love and light to on a daily basis. We're not only taking that on as empaths, we're not only taking that on as light workers, but one of the side effects is that we are getting further and further more disconnected from ourselves and how we are feeling, right? And one sign that you might be an empath or a light worker is somebody randomly asks you how you're doing. And you're like, oh, how am I doing? Right? You're not used to it because you're usually the one asking others how they are feeling. Well, I'm challenging you today to check in with yourself and ask yourself how you're doing, right? Are you tired? Are you hungry? What do you need, right? One of the symptoms that you are, or signs rather, that you are burnt out as a light worker is physical exhaustion, right? Are you physically exhausted? Are you emotionally exhausted to the point where you are questioning if you should even do your meditation today, right? And the meditations usually are the things that, for many of us, they recharge us. Whether it's a healing meditation, an energy healing meditation, whether that is just for grounding, whether that is for you to just receive earth energy or cosmic light, right? These things replenish us as light workers. When you ask yourself or say to yourself, I am so tired, I don't even think I want to meditate right now. I can't. Or if I close my eyes to meditate, I am going to fall asleep right now. I'm raising my hand. I've been there. I might be there soon, which is probably why Spirit is calling me to do this episode, right? So checking in with yourself, are you burnt out that it's disconnecting you from your soul purpose right now? Because if you're feeling less passionate right now about your spiritual work, that is a huge indication that you are burnt out. And I also want to preface that we are talking about light workers today, but you can replace that word spiritual work with anything else, right? Feeling less passionate about your job, feeling less passionate about spending time with loved ones, feeling less passionate about your craft, your art, right? These are signs that you are burnt out. Now that you've become aware that you are burnt out, the next step is to prioritize self-care. Self-care. Now, I want to start with this quote. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is survival. Think about that. Let that sink in, all right? Let that sink in, receive that. All right, just as you recharge your phone or recharge your batteries, you've got to recharge your soul and your spirit, okay? And it's not selfish to practice self-care and to prioritize yourself, okay? Self-care is not laziness. Self-care is survival, and it's necessary, all right? We take on a lot as light workers. We take on a lot as empaths, all right? And we think about often others before ourselves. So in this part of the episode, I want to challenge you to really spend some time thinking about your hobbies and the things that bring you joy. All right? If you could spend a day doing anything that you wanted without an alarm clock, without the expectations of others, what would you be doing right now? Right? Would you be singing? Would you be dancing? Would you just be resting? Like actually resting? That is okay too, to prioritize that. Who would you be seeing right now? Who would you be visiting? Where would you be going? Think about the answers to those questions. Think about those hobbies, those interests that you might have neglected for so long because you've taken on so much service work for others, right? And the service work is important. We're called as spiritual beings, as light workers, to spread our light and to be of service and to align our purpose, our soul's purpose, with things that also feed our souls too, right? It's the dharma of it all. It's what sparks joy inside of me is a way that I can parlay to be helping other people. But some of us have gotten so far off the path that we've forgotten like what makes us light up. All right? So take some time to prioritize some self-care. Take some time for you. And if you need a moment to just think about what brings you joy, some of you I know are thinking to yourselves, no, I'm so burnt out, I can't even think about what makes me happy right now. Or the thought of that makes me uncomfortable. Well, that's the work. That's the work. It's to sit with it. It's like you've so long not allowed yourself the time to just sit with things, that sitting with things makes you uncomfortable. When it is your body really, truly just resting into itself. And don't judge yourself in the process, right? There's no right or wrong way to practice self-care. It's called self-care. Okay, let's recap really quickly. We first talked about recognizing when we're burnt out. We then talked about how to prioritize ourselves with self-care. And now we are going to discuss energy clearing and healing techniques. Energy clearing and healing is so important as light workers because we do need to release that energy that no longer serves us, right? All of the stuff that we've taken on, all that energy that we've taken on, right? And just because we're practicing self-care, we also need to also release other people's energy and release it back. Remember, that's not our journey. We play a crucial part in other people's journeys, but it's still their journey. So we're going to give those things back that don't serve us back to those people with love, with care, and allow them to find a way to practice their own self-care and to create some balance in their own lives. Now, I talk a lot about energy protection on this channel, and so I'll leave a description below, or a link in the description below, with several tips and techniques that I use to clear my energy. But 3 of the ones that I often mention are the use of the violet flame. All right, the big one is the violet flame, to just release and transmute all of that energy and release it back to where it needs to go. You can also use crystals like a selenite wand, or even do a violet flame shower, running the violet flame through your water. There's so many different ways to cleanse and clear your energy. And one of those that I really want to highlight right now that is accessible to a lot of people, not everybody has access to this, but in your own way, if you are able to go out in nature, if you're able to go out into nature, if you're able to touch vegetation, touch a tree, that is the highest vibration. It is Christ consciousness. So when I talk about raising our consciousness and vibration, one of the fastest ways to get there is to be in nature. All right. Now, some of you might be like, I have a trail. I can go hiking, or I already incorporate that in my everyday life. It's necessary. And for some of you, you don't do it enough. For some of you, there's a barrier, like, well, how do I get out into nature? Or I'm not a nature person. Right? There are lots of ways to get in contact with nature. And remember, as energetic beings, we're connected with everything. And we sometimes just even contemplating on nature can bring you a close connection with that and just sitting with it. So definitely take some time to cleanse and clear your energy. Take some time for you. It is crucial as light workers that we are sending it back. return to sender. And next, I want to talk about leaning on your community as light workers, okay? So one way to prevent burnout or to recharge as a light worker is to find your community, right? We are in the new age of Aquarius now, and we are no longer the hermits. We are meant to do things as a tribe. We're meant to do things as a collective, to meditate with one another, to share our wins, to share our victories with, to share our sorrows with, and know that we are in a community of like-minded light workers who get it, who understand, and can also speak to you on a spiritual level that maybe not your other friends or other acquaintances would be able to articulate or to understand. The spiritual knowledge, the spiritual aspect of you, the part of you that came here to learn a lesson as a light worker, right? So there are so many ways to get in touch with the community. I am very, very lucky that I have found many spiritual mentors in my life, and I get to attend groups regularly on a weekly basis where I meditate as a collective, where I process spiritual ideas and topics that come up for us while we're on the path. And I'm so grateful to my spiritual mentors for all of the tools and the service that they provide to me, and the opportunities I get to share on a weekly basis. And so if you have not yet found a community or have not yet found a mentor for yourself, perhaps you're called to mentor somebody else, which again, be careful about that you're not burning yourself out before you need to also replenish yourself first. But it is truly, truly empowering as a community to even just talk about burnout. One of the amazing things that happens because words are so powerful, is that when we get together with like-minded souls, with our soul tribe, and we even just say the words burnout, for example, right? Once you start talking about it, the energy of the group starts to allow that energy to start to dissipate, right? So it starts to almost break down. And so you don't feel as burnt out talking about the burnout anymore, because there is support, right? There's also angels and guides all around the group that are allowing the messaging, allowing the energy to go where it needs to go. So you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone, okay? And I know that it often feels like when you are going through burnout that you're the only one going through it and that nobody can understand. Well, partially it is your journey. It is a sacred journey that is your own. The theme of giving beyond what we have is a theme of many light workers, and we're being called to lean on each other, and it's okay to lean on each other. Now, as we talk about burnout, it's really important that after you've done the self-care, after you've done the connecting with nature, after you've done the leaning on your community, it's important to realign with your purpose again, right? Asking yourself the question of, why did you come here to be of service in the first place, right? Do you remember why? Do you remember why you chose to be a healer, right? An active healer, because there are healers who are not necessarily in the healing profession, but they're healing the people around them, and they're actively aware of what they're doing because they have that calling to be a healer and to be of service, right? Take some time to journal. Journaling is a great way to realign yourself with your purpose, to spend some time thinking about how you'd like to change the world, the impact, your legacy, what you'd like to leave behind, what you'd like to impart on people, how you'd like to spread your light and love, what you're grateful for, who you're grateful for, the lessons that you've learned on this journey. And I promise you, even if it's just a little tiny centimeter, you're going to start to feel that energy backfill you. It's going to start to flow, because it has no other choice. When you're aligning with your true purpose and you're contemplating on what connects you to your higher self, the energy has no choice but to backfill and to flow upward and through the crown chakra. And that little bit of smile on your face or that tiny light in your eyes that starts to light up is a huge indicator that the burnout is leaving you and you're ready to go back to doing you, to being your higher self and in beautiful, beautiful alignment. All right. Burnout doesn't have to dim your light, light workers and starseeds and healers. But it is definitely part of the journey. Right. And there's a lot that we can learn from it too. And that we hope that the next time that we anticipate burnout on the horizon, we'll have more tools and the anticipation of a beautiful new lesson that we can learn again. And even if that lesson is the most valuable lesson, I think one of the most valuable lessons is to just be kinder and gentler to ourselves before we are kinder and gentler to other people. I think the word balance comes to mind. Now, if you found this video helpful for you today, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to this channel for more ways to awaken to your higher self, for more ways to figure out how to overcome burnout and release that energy, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on the Uncaged Mindset channel on YouTube. With love and light, take care, my brothers and sisters. Be well on your journey.